This is TWiT.
Tech Break is brought to you by ACI Learning. Globally respected companies and agencies turn to ACI Learning year after year to help them maintain their competitive edge. Supporting organizations across audit, IT, and cybersecurity readiness, ACI Learning keeps organizations at the top of their game. Visit acilearning.com and let ACI level up your IT team. The big story, I think one of the big stories, and maybe one of the more exciting stories of the year, was the AI revolution.
Yes,
this all kind of happened towards the end of the year. I was looking, and in April we had the story about DALL-E can edit pictures, and then they open it up to the public, and then along comes open source Stable Diffusion, and it's amazing. And because it's open source, the development is very aggressive, very fast. Then Midjourney, and then of course ChatGPT, which just was open to the public by OpenAI a couple of weeks ago. And what it looks like is almost a Cambrian explosion of artificial intelligence. That perhaps we are at the hockey stick. Is that overambitious, do you think?
No. Have you heard is it Holly, the Jolene cover by that artist that's completely AI generated? Is incredible.
No. So this is actually the question somebody was asking this week is, where is the music version of this?
Oh, no, it's out. You look this up. The Jolene, there's an AI that re-recorded Jolene by Dolly Parton, but in the voice of an artist.
Should I play it? Can I get in trouble?
It's fantastic.
Here's a picture of Holly
Plus, I'm sorry.
Plus. All right, I will.
By the way, the video is not great, but the
Ew.
music is fantastic.
Well, as often with AI generated, it's kind of like an image out of your nightmares, isn't it? Sometimes.
The video
it's the.
All right, well, close your eyes, everybody, while I play this, unless you're driving. So this is all generated by AI,
right?
Even the music.
Oh, especially the music.
But I mean, not just the vocals.
Oh, actually.
Is it real music
I'm not sure about
fake
the music.
vocals?
It's the vocals are AI.
Ryan Norris, who handles the instrumentation.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think there was a guy playing the guitar, but
is this hard?
The voice is not hard. I mean, we've heard it before, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. This is.
No, that's not such a big deal to me.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make up entirely.
I love that we are at the point where we're not impressed by it.
Ha!
That's not worth.
That's your AI.
That's fine. Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
trying to find it right now.
I mean, maybe if the robot army was coming.
When we have heard AI music, it has been the uncanny. What is that? Oh, that's your AI, Steve.
That's Lenza.
Lenza's very cool.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Lenza has a little bit of a problem, though.
I noticed your Lenza thing doesn't have a lot of cleavage, though.
Yeah, can we? I can't
Why would
show.
that be?
I really can't show Lisa's AI because now they fixed it, I think. But initially, so I did mine first, and like yours, Steve, it looked like me. It wasn't sexy. This is Kim Schaffer, who works on the radio show. She's a call screener. Not, it's cute. It's not bad. And mine are fine. There are a few kind of sexy ones where I'm like this one in fur.
There's your Trump NFT, yeah.
Yeah, but
I'll spend $99 for that.
There's some. I mean, I didn't. This
what
is
is
not
that.
That's
Why
not
do you
me.
have your shirt off?
That's
so
not
much?
me. Well, I don't. There were no. But okay. But let me tell you. Yeah, for some reason, it decided to take my shirt off. But I can't.
I love that
show
this is
you.
where it goes. Is this like AI?
Lisa,
by
is that what it looks
13-year-old
like
boys?
for real?
I can't. Yeah, that's I have got the 8-pack, absolutely. But I can't
Lisa's
show
laughing
you
hard.
the ones it made of Lisa. This is Lenza also, which is an app from the Prisma guys.
It's horny teenage boys run the world.
Yeah. But that's so interesting is it doesn't do that with men. And it does ask you, are you a man or a woman or other? And then, but I noticed with a woman,
with women, there's a reporter who wrote about this and said, I told it I was a man, and it still created these cleavage in kind of voluptuous pictures or whatever.
I think the pictures of the male are fine, except for the few topless ones. I can't go too far down this road. You can show a couple of these, right, Lisa? These are all right. She's apparently got a boob job, and then it gets worse from there. I did not upload pictures with cleavage. I did not upload suggestive pictures. It was all just headshots. And for the most part, the headshots are fine. But there was a sexist element. Now, it turns out, Anthony, who is running the board today, thank you, Anthony Nielsen, told me that there is a switch. He's our Stable Diffusion local expert. There's a switch that says no NSFW images. And I think what happened is Lenza, which uses server-side Stable Diffusion, which is one of the...
And wants to increase sales.
And yeah, well, initially they forgot to turn that off. So the pictures I generated of Lisa were last Thursday, a week ago exactly. The pictures I did of Kim were from Saturday. I was testing it to see, well, is it going to do that again? And it didn't. And so obviously they said, oops, we didn't flip that switch. Maybe we oughta. Meanwhile, I'm saving these pictures of Lisa for later.
For scientific purposes.
Scientific purposes, I assure you.
I stuck this in the chat. There's a piece by Kevin Roos in the New York Times that has I think it's brilliant, the instructions for removing a peanut butter sandwich from a VCR in the style of the King James Bible.
It was quite good. It was quite
really
good.
Brilliant.
Shall I do a little performance?
Yeah, do it. In your voice would be great.
Which accent are you going to do, Leo?
Well, it's Bible, so I'll do the accent of God.
Actually, one of your pictures look like God. You should bring that up too.
Oh, and then we'd really have it. Where does he doesn't, does he link in this article?
You have to scroll down. It's in a tweet. It's one of the visuals.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can. Tweets. What are those? Is that something?
It's Thomas Patchik,
is that something?
It's from the past.
A bird?
It's about halfway down the article, and it's a long
like a
tweet.
lithograph.
A guy says, I simply cannot be cynical about a technology that can accomplish this.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The prompt was write a biblical verse in the style of the King James Bible, explaining how to remove a peanut butter sandwich from a VCR. And
as one does.
As one does. And it came to pass that a man was troubled by a peanut butter sandwich, for it had been placed within his VCR, and he knew not how to remove it. And he cried out to the Lord, saying, "Oh, Lord, how can I remove this sandwich from my VCR? For it is stuck fast and will not budge." And the Lord spoke unto him, saying, "Fear not, my child, for I shall guide thy hand and show thee the way." Is this sacrilegious? Am I going to get?
That's perfect.
Am I going to hell?
Christmas? Why not?
Take thy butter knife.
Like,
it is Christmas.
Like Bela Lugosi from The Grinch.
Take thy butter knife,
right,
and carefully insert it between the sandwich and the VCR, and gently pry them apart. And with patience and perseverance, the sandwich shall be removed, and thy VCR will be saved. And the man did as the Lord commanded. And lo and behold, the sandwich was removed from the VCR, and the man was saved. And the Lord said unto him, "Verily, I say unto thee, seek not to put thy peanut butter sandwiches in thy VCR, for it is not a suitable place for such things. Rather, keep thy sandwiches in thy refrigerator, or on thine plate, where they belong." And the man heeded the Lord's words, and from that day forth he kept his sandwiches in their proper place, and was saved from trouble and woe. Amen. You know what? Okay. Thank you. That's me.
Astonishing.
That's the one. There we go. He's generating pictures of me in real time.
Rewrite
by
my
the
book
way.
in that language.
That's real time?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm impressed that you're doing this.
This is
as we do the show.
I'm remoting into my work PC.
Wow.
So it's not the Mac.
Look at that. That's his. What was the prompt?
The
Leo
shot
is a
from,
god.
Leo is a
shot
god.
from Foundation.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I am a wrathful Lord. I think there's a sense of humor in this that is quite impressive. But is it really a sense of humor or no?
Well, as long as you do irony, you're going to get some humor.
I was going to say, it might be irony. It might be the closest.
This is why this year...
Gebru's piece.
Yeah, well, let me just quote Blake Lemoine, the Google engineer who got fired, because he said Google's Lambda AI had become sentient.
Yeah, that's also this year, yes.
But you could actually, reading that, think, well, boy, this ChatGPT really kind of understands irony.
No, I think it's that one attribute it's gained this year is the ability to understand humor better, to identify humor, which is not hard to imagine, right? It's Jerry Seinfeld is all about the architecture of a joke,
right?
And if you really understand the architecture of humor, you can do it. So there's an architecture to irony. There's an architecture to a joke. And I think it's not surprising then that GPT can get that.
That's got to scare a lot of comics and humor writers, however.
Who it really scares is professors. Yeah. Constantly, every day I see academics on, how are we going to assign essays? How are they going to learn to write? Then other people come back and say, well, you fools, this is just the future. I think I've got to start teaching prompt writing.
It would be it would be the equivalent of teaching somebody the Palmer method for handwriting in the computer age, right? It's not. Yeah. It's a skill unneeded these days. Is that true? Certainly for generic writing.
It's the new programming. It's the new coding.
Impressed you know the Palmer method. Wow. That's
I told you it's the old man show, Doc.
Yeah.
Well, my grandmother learned that, and she died at 108 in 1990. So that's
yikes.
There's a story. I've told this story before, but at one point, because when we learned the more modern cursive. I doubt. Do you think kids learn cursive?
They don't even teach cursive.
I know they don't. No. They don't teach cursive.
They don't teach addition.
Yeah. Well, that's another matter for another day. But we learned what was considered a more modern. I'm trying to remember the name of the cursive that we learned, but it's ugly, kind of. The one with the V with a little hitch and.
Oh yeah,
and
it's cursed.
It's halfway to calligraphy.
Cursive.
Yeah, it's not though. That's the problem. It's dumbed down.
Yeah.
So at one point when I got into a little thing over fountain pens, I went out and I bought. You can buy it on Amazon. Let me see if I can find the listing for it. You can buy
it's a nightmare.
The old chap books for teaching handwriting, but not from my era, but from your grandmother's era.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Palmer. It was actually a simplified Palmer.
Maybe this will make a comeback, like LPs and
it is very twee,
where it had different ruling lines, right?
Yeah.
Different heights of lines.
Yeah, it's actually does look like calligraphy. It's quite beautiful, quite much more beautiful than the current method of handwriting. Anyway,
but you can do it with a normal pen, like a ballpoint pen or whatever.
It's better to do it with a fountain pen because you want strokes.
The strokes. Okay.
You want the thickness of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyway, that's a weird. From AI to the Palmer method
that we love.
Let me see if I can just now I've modern cursive. All I'm getting. So I looked for modern cursive styles and stuff. All I'm getting is fonts.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to write something. So where do we think? So again, I'll ask the question: it's clearly not sentient, but it's also very good.
Except with facts. It's predicting the next word in a way that's going to sound right to us, and it's excellent at that. What is its downfall is that and people think it's going to replace Google. No, it's not, because it's terrible at facts. It delivers wrong answers.
Yeah.
Well said. Now there's use for that.
This might be the right technology for this era.
Honestly, it is like a professor.
I know. We talked about this, I think, on yesterday on Floss Weekly, that there's one case where it delivered beautiful programming, but it was full of wrongness.
It can write code. It can write code. Yeah, people were using for the first few days of the advent of code, it was writing the solution. So you could actually, in fact, a few people got on the leaderboard within 10 seconds of the release of the advent of code problem.
Oh, really?
They got on the leaderboard having ChatGPT do it. But it couldn't go past day 3. As soon as it got complicated, it kind of failed. On the other hand, and you probably mentioned this, Doc, but GitHub's Copilot does a pretty good job of writing code. There is a problem with it because it seems to have scraped it all from.
Yeah, I was going to say it's sourcing its knowledge from the web. It's not built in. It's literally copy and paste.
But programmers for years, and you're a programmer, Paul, and so are you, Steve. Programmers for years have cribbed from,
that's all we do. Isn't that all programming?
Yeah. So Copilot is just a better way of doing that.
One of the things that I think ChatGPT can do is be very useful for brainstorming. Alex Lindsay was talking about this on Tuesday, where you ask it something and it, spits something out, which doesn't have to be correct in detail, but it can be an entirely different way of thinking about something than you were.
So you kind of used it as an outline?
Yes. Well, just sort of as a friend.
As an aid.
You know what it does really well? It writes documentation really well. So you can ask it, for instance, somebody posted, and it was quite accurate, I don't understand aperture in photography. Could you explain what f-stops are and what aperture is and why it's important? And you can say something like, explain to me like I'm a fifth grader or something. But it does a very good job. I think for documentation, because it has access to all that material.
If it has access to the facts. I had an argument with ChatGPT about...
right there! That's the Turing test. It passed the Turing test.
I know. My wife got a new MacBook Pro Air, right? And it has the MagSafe 3 connector, because there have now been 3 incompatible MagSafe connectors.
Yeah.
So I asked, because I couldn't find one on Amazon, I want a MagSafe 2 to 3 converter. And it says there is no MagSafe 3. I said, well, there is. And no, everything made by Apple now uses a USB.
If this thing is sentient, it will realize it's losing the fight, and it will just make fun of you.
Well, here's how it lost the fight. It said,
like Twitter.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything since April of 2021.
Yeah, that's why.
It says, I was trained on through April of 2021. I don't know anything new.
It's interesting, though, that it sensed, I see what the problem is. Something has happened since my training ended. Now, that's completely artificial. A modern
But it feels like self-awareness, doesn't it?
Always learning.
It's a failure light that went off, but it's still... But it argued with me before. It said, no, you're wrong. It's
yeah.
Leo,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sam Altman said it costs a lot of money, about 10 times a Google query per ChatGPT prompt. An eye-watering amount of money. So at some point, this is going to go back underwater. It uses a lot of energy, a lot of compute power. But presumably, you could have a ChatGPT that is always scanning for more information, getting smarter and smarter. It would know about Mag 3.
Once upon a time,
you need a good scrape.
computers.
You need a constantly updated scrape, right? That's gonna
It's
feed
expensive.
Yeah, but the other thing that interests me is that I think we're redefining literacy in this time. Literacy used to be to write essays, to write full thoughts. Literacy got redefined with new alphabets like emoji and with new media like memes and short video and podcasts. And then now you can get the aid of something that helps you write and say, yes, that was what I was trying to say. Thank you. And so you're expressing yourself better as a result.
This happened 20 years ago with research. It used to be you had to know how to use a card catalog, go in a library, find something. Now all you have to do is know how to ask Google.
Right. So it's query writing. It's prompt writing.
As you're talking, there's an accessibility angle to this that's actually really interesting, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, tell me about that,
also,
Paul.
Well, no, as he was talking, there are people who can't express themselves because of a disability of whatever kind. So, in other words, yes, you helped me say what I was trying to. That's exactly what I meant. Is something that you don't have to have a disability, but anybody could probably use that help at one point or another.
Well, and Steve Jobs famously called a personal computer a bicycle for your mind.
Right.
Which allowed you to do much more. And also remember that the original portable computers we called luggables, and now we have them in our pocket. So
and not merely in our pocket, millions of times faster.
Yes.
And always connected to the internet at a high speed.
And able to do AI locally.
And Apple will have the ChatGPT chip in the next phone.
That'll be the next
This will just be part of it.
Well, I can tell you right now, for instance, you were using Lensa, Steve, but you can actually download and run Stable Diffusion on a modern iPhone, and it runs fast as it does on a PC. Yeah. So, this is a breakthrough.
You said modern iPhone because you knew that I had a 6 sitting here.
That one, it won't work.
Is that running Windows 2000?
You don't have an iPhone. Come on, you have an iPhone 14, Steve. I
have a 10. I have an X.
All right. Well, you might want to get a 14.
Here's the other piece, Leo, is that what this does for the businesses we're in is that it makes content absolutely and finally a commodity. There is the idea of scarce content, the idea of scarce writing, the idea of scarce media is completely gone now, because a machine can generate unlimited amounts of it that makes sense to human beings. And that says the value is not in making a commodity called content. Watch out. That's been the case since Gutenberg. But it changes to where the value is in things like relationships, right? So Elon Musk thinks that Twitter is about content. It's not. It's about the connections that people have.